Today we're going to be comparing these three Christmas trees. They're all 7.5 foot tall. Over there we have the National Tree Company. In the center we have the Casafield. And then on the far right we have the Best Choice Products Christmas tree. So none of these Christmas trees are pre-lit. These are just all simple trees, no lights, no wires, but they do come with some nice stands to keep them upright. So let me go ahead and show you every one of these trees behind me to give you guys a closer look at them. All right, so we will be starting off with the National Tree Company tree. This one is lighter green of the three here. And as you guys can see, the two trees over there are almost identical in several ways. So we'll talk about that in a moment. For now, let's take a closer look at the first tree. So all of these come in three different sections. This one has a plastic adapter there just on the top attachment. And I believe all of the trees have a similar adapter, but when you guys go down to the center, that connection's all metal, which is good. You want metal down there because it's dealing with a lot more weight. So the center is wrapped with garland, so you guys won't be able to see the metal. It'll just blend in. And up here, normally you wouldn't see a gap like that. That only happened because we were taking a look at the actual connection point there, so I moved all the branches down. On the top here, all three of the trees have a fairly similar setup here where these branches are just metal hooks or metal rods that you bend, but the bottom branches are actually on hinges. So all three of the trees are like that. This one does have the most amount of branches though. We're at about 2,500 branch tips, where these are about 1,300 branch tips. I think you guys could really tell a difference when you guys get lower. The tree itself just seems wider and it's just more full. It's harder to see through the other side. Some of that could be because the other side's not as fluffed up as it could be, but I definitely do notice a difference between these two with how many more branches are in this one. So let's go down here. The bases are basically all the same. This one does seem on this tree to be a little bigger gauge, and we do get the rubber tips on all of the legs just to keep your floor scratch free. Overall, this tree is really nice. I definitely do like the color of this one as well. I think it matches my house and my carpet a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and move over to the Casafield, and we'll start at the bottom since we're already down here. That is the base. It's very similar to the last one, just a tiny bit smaller. And then here's a close look at those branches. When we compare the branches, the colors are different and the way that they actually make the branch seems slightly different. The branches on the Casafield have been open and unpacked the same amount of time as our National Tree Company, and these branches just have not fluffed up quite as well. As you guys can see, this one's still pretty flat. That one's really flat. But most of the branches on the National Tree Company one kind of self-fluffed up. I did have to move and bend the metal branches to be in place, but the actual fibers on the branch weren't just flat. They are more full, and I think it gives the tree a nice look. So let's keep it moving. Like I was saying earlier, the bottom sections are on metal hinges, and then the top's a little different, and we have a smaller plastic insert there, and that's really the only difference that I could find between these two trees is basically that connector. But let's go ahead and take a look. Those are those metal branches I was talking about. They're just bendable, but overall it's a very simple but good looking tree. Let's move over to the next one. Like I was saying, these two are very, very similar. So the main difference is going to be that connection point. And I will say the Best Choice Products tree here has a slightly wider in diameter connection point. So I think that one might be less likely to get damaged. So that's really the only thing that I could notice between the two. Other than that, the branch tips are the same, and they also have the same color basically. On the bottom here, we have a very similar stand to the previous one. These trees are very similar in a lot of ways. So that's basically it for the comparison between all three of these Christmas trees. Overall, these are all really nice trees. These were just my favorite of the bunch, and I wanted to compare them to each other. Hopefully you were able to figure out which one's gonna be the best for you and which one's gonna match your holiday setup this year.